Hello, I am recording this video so that way I can document my composting journey. I've been on a composting journey for about 6 months now, honestly, and it seems to be at a standstill and I'm a little frustrated by the whole thing. However, it's something that I do want to learn about. And so I think making this video is going to just help give me the motivation that I'm putting it out there and just documenting it. So, what is composting? I'm just gonna read it so I don't botch it. Composting is the natural process of recycling organic matter such as leaves and food scraps into a valuable fertilizer that can enrich soil and plants. Anything that grows decomposes eventually. Composting simply speeds up the process by providing an ideal environment for bacteria, fungi, and other decomposing organisms such as worms, sow bugs, and nematodes to do their work. The resulting decomposed matter, which often ends up looking like fertile garden soil, is called compost, fondly referred to by farmers as black gold. Compost is rich in nutrients and can be used for gardening, horticulture, and agriculture. So, what are the benefits of it? It reduces the waste stream. It cuts methane emissions from landfills. It improves soil health and lessens erosion, and it conserves water. And lastly, it reduces personal food waste. So, before, I would think about a banana peel and I would just say, oh, okay, I know that it decomposes. So I didn't really think anything of it and I would just throw it in my trash can. However, it cannot decompose unless it has access to air. So it is naturally biodegradable, but when it goes into a landfill, there's stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff. So since it doesn't have air, it's not able to biodegrade and it's just sitting there. So, I just want to try to learn this thing. And it's actually a lot harder than I've watched on other YouTube videos. And maybe it's just me, I don't know. Also, I'm in an urban environment. I'm an urban gardener, I live in a condominium. So it just is kind of a little challenging. So up until this point, what I've been doing is I've actually just built the habit. The first few months, I've just been building the habit of collecting food scraps. So anything that was living or like it grew organically, it should naturally decompose. So any type of fruits, vegetables, or food scraps, you can do eggshells, coffee beans. So if you make coffee, hopefully the coffee filter is biodegradable, and then the coffee that's left in there, you can put it in your compost. And then also like newspaper from your toilet paper, cardboard rolls and stuff like that. And there's a whole list out there that you can look up. But yes, basically all these excess food scraps that will not decompose in the landfill, we're using the process of composting to help have less food go into the landfill. And also it helps when it finally does turn into the final product of the compost itself. It's really, really good for your plants. So, but the problem that I'm facing, okay, let me back up, sorry. So what I've been doing is just building the habit of keeping those food scraps. So for example, this and this, okay, there's paper in there, this is eggshells, and then this is a toilet paper roll. And then I usually don't store it there, but I just put it out there because I was like, I'm gonna do a video, and I put it in this thing. So, but the first few months what I did is I actually went through one of my local companies. We have two that are local that what they will do is they'll come by weekly or every 2 weeks. However, I do recommend weekly because it does get a little stinky, that they'll come by and pick up your food scraps, and then they take it to wherever their farm or wherever they are, and then they actually do the whole process of composting it for you. So it was like a really luxury service where all I had to do was put my food scraps in the designated bin that they gave me. I know actually some cities do it, like I think Austin, Texas does it, which is awesome, but the city of Orlando where I live does not do a pickup. So I was doing that service. I was paying for somebody to come and pick it up. However, I stopped that service, and now what I'm doing, the next step is the city of Orlando, what they do is you can go and drop it off at one of their locations, and then the city will do the composting for you. So once a week I will go, or my partner, he'll go and drop off our food scraps. And the thing is that of course it gets really stinky. And you know, when I watch all these like videos and read these articles, it just means that I don't have the correct formula in my compost. And the correct formula apparently is you have to have a good like green to brown ratio, i.e. you're a good nitrogen to carbon ratio. And this is what it's supposed to look like. See, it's supposed to be like all this brown and all this green. However, living in an urban environment, most of the stuff that I have, because I don't live in a house, is the green, the nitrogen scraps. So nitrogen scraps are scraps from kitchen, manure, and grass clippings. So basically all my stuff I have are stuff from my kitchen scraps, 90% of my compost. But the carbon is leaves, wood chips, and straw, etc. So I don't have leaves or wood chips or straw because I don't live in a house. So my thing can turn out to be stinky, and that's not cute. And I want to, you know, I'm all about the natural life, but I don't want stinkiness, and I don't want pests or anything to start growing in there. So I'm just trying to really figure out this nitrogen to carbon thing. And for right now, I'm okay with, I basically feel like I'm at the second step of my composting journey. The first step was I hired a company to come pick up my scraps, and that helped me build the habit. Habits are super important to build. So now that I've built the habit, now I'm just going and dropping it off at my local Orlando compost area where they'll compost it for me. But I would really like to learn how to make my own compost and have that my own, what do they call it? Black magic that farmers call it, because I actually try to use compost for my plants because it's a really gentle fertilizer for them. It's an organic fertilizer. Like when you buy synthetic fertilizer for your house, especially your house plants, it can burn them. Like it could just be too much, and compost is just so gentle for it. So anyways, right now I'm doing really well. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back that I am just building the habit, and learning is just a low and slow for me. Learning anything new just takes time, especially when I have a million things going on. Like this is something that's kind of, you know, just one of the things I am doing. But my goal is to learn how to actually make a compost. But for now, I am just kind of learning about what I can and can't put into the compost. It's pretty easy to Google. Sometimes it still feels a little bit tricky. And I'm hoping that I just figure out this carbon to nitrogen ratio thing. And that is that. So that is my compost journey of where I'm at. If you compost, or you know anybody who composts, or if you know anybody who has any of these services that I was talking about, or anybody, if you're from Austin, Texas, that's awesome that they pick it up. Let me know how that works. There are probably other states and cities that do it. I just really haven't Googled it that much. But at least in Orlando, we have a place where you could drop it off. So that's really cool. And I'm glad that the city of Orlando does that. So, okay, I'm gonna stop rambling, but I just wanted to share, you know, one of my mini learning journeys. And it's in the name of learning. Like, I don't know, I would imagine like our ancestors probably did this too, because, you know, they probably didn't waste a lot of things. It's like that natural process of life, you know? So yeah, it's just in the name of honoring our ancestors and honoring Mother Earth, and also just learning. I think like a lot of times it's easier just to continue doing what we're doing, but sometimes if we stretch ourselves, you learn, and you just feel so much cooler and better after you do it. And that's like not a cool way to explain it, but I don't know, that's just like how I feel. When you learn something, you feel accomplished. So alrighty, I hope you're doing well. And from my heart to yours, I'm sending you LOVE with an exclamation mark. Ciao.